I am war. Help me kill. All you have to do is do nothing.
This is Revolution Podcast, and I'm joined by Quinn. Kuba will be here eventually, promise. We are doing the World Cup, World Conqueror, Elimination Bracket, pre-modern edition. We desired too many conquerors and military leaders and other kind of moral and immoral gentlemen in our lists. So we split it into pre-modern versus modern. Today we're doing pre-modern at the request of Tribune of the Plebes at Quinn. There's going to be a poll today. You can spam ones in the chat for whoever, in this case Charlemagne, or you can spam twos in the chat, Philip II. I didn't realize that you had to actually press a number in chat to do it, and I'm less enamored now of the idea that people have to do that, because I think it will get in the way of other comments. But that's life. I've already put 16 polls in the widget, so they're going to get got.
Yes, audience participation. This is us pretending that we care about you.
Quinn has committed to choosing today's best conqueror based on vibes, based on auras, based on aesthetics. Kuba will be here eventually. This is how the bracket's looking this week. I found out how to actually do it split sides, so it isn't as unwieldy and ugly as it was last week. And the aesthetics have very slightly improved. I'd prefer if it was not grayscale, but grayscale, that's all right. Should we go into our first round? Oh, sure. I guess we should talk about what are we going off here. Obviously, this is not a moralist poll. Very far from it. Quite almost the opposite, like a lot less than the president's, or at least maybe that kind of factored in. I'm not factoring in morality at all today. The focus is on someone's military acumen, but as suggested by Kuba from the beginning of this idea, we're also going to be talking a lot about kind of their capacities in governing and this sort of thing. A big thing for me is if you make a huge empire, but it splinters the moment you die, then that's a lot of aura point lost for me. Good conquerors, good military leaders don't just make the world for themselves and their generation, they make it for the next one.
They plant trees that will not be seen until their sons come of age.
Yeah, they plant trees and they water them with a lot of blood. The other thing is to say that some people have been excluded from this poll. 3 people in the pre-modern bracket and 1 person in the modern bracket have been excluded for just being too cool. We've excluded Alexander the Great.
Alexander of Macedon.
Alexander of Macedon. When I was in Greece, when I was in Athens, when I was an anarchist in Athens, I suggested to my squat mates and other people in our association during the nationality dispute, the naming dispute between Greece and Macedon, between North Macedonia, as it's called now, formerly called the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. I suggested that we make a series of posters saying, Alexander the Great, neither Greek nor Macedon, but LGBT, which would have provoked everyone involved. But my anarchist friends didn't want to do that, not because that was too ultra-left, but because it was insufficiently ultra-left for them, because they did not want to glorify a conqueror. I thought it was a great poster, great idea. It should have been made. Would have been better off if it did, but it didn't, so that's life.
Why did they fail you?
We've also
That's really fucked up.
It was a beautiful, beautiful idea. We also excluded Genghis Khan and Subutai, who was Genghis Khan's main general, for obvious reasons. The biggest emperor of anyone, biggest conqueror of anyone. Honestly,
I mean, like, yeah, if we had Genghis in this list, it would be, it's a bracket for second.
well, it's just a bracket between Alexander the Great and him, right? And you can't even get one of them for being like, well, your empire shattered on death because it happened to both of them.
Didn't Genghis last a couple generations?
I don't think it lasted. I think it split, like it was a deliberate split on death, as in like he divided it up.
No, you're right.
Unlike Alexander the Great, who was like, and then they immediately.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm over here weeping, not finding any more lands to conquer.
Another question that we'll answer in the process is, how many points do you lose for being murdered by the Senate or by the Emperor? Because there are some guys on this poll who I think otherwise would have been like goats, but it didn't end up being because they were killed early and not by something they could have reasonably kind of avoided. It was just that's how shit went down.
I think that we can't get too far into like the counterfactual worlds, because like then we're
I think we have to assess like someone's career, obviously. But I think we can't be like, if they went out with an injury at 24, we'd still imagine what it was like,
Yeah.
Kuba needs the link.
I'll resend it to him.
Okay. I mean, it's just a link at the top of the URL that we're at.
Yeah.
Red Droga has voted for Charlemagne, the only person that's voted, but now has tried to vote for Philip II. Presumably, they were trying to find out if you could do that. But yeah, so our first matchup is between Charlemagne, the Emperor of the Franks, united Western Europe, built a great empire, did lots of wars, fucked around with the Pope, fucked around with the Byzantines, fucked around a little bit in England, genocided the Saxons and exterminated their Germanic religion. Only person, I think, to do a genocide of Saxons. Interesting stuff. Philip II, one of my goats, king of the Macedons, first guy ever to fully submit Greece to his rule, reformed the army, financed the army, professionalized the army, until Philip II, all of the Greek armies were just casuals. They were all part-timers. They just believed in like civic spirit would be enough. They didn't train. They regarded the idea of training as like silly, as un-Greek. And still for like 200 years, they beat all comers, including beating off a Persian invasion by a general that we'll include later on. But Macedon, Philip II, got rid of all that, destroyed all that, crushed all the Greek armies, but also made peace. He did not make a ruin of Greece. He made a peace in Greece. He set up his son, Alexander, to conquer the Persian Empire. And for me, he's great. He's got a hard matchup right now. I'm not saying like, in lots of other matchups, I'd be backing Philip II to go straight through. Against Charlemagne, I'm not 100% on it. Quinn, do you have any thoughts on these two fellows?
I mean, as we've established, I'm voting on vibe. And like starting the Holy Roman Empire, like, is kind of an unbeatable vibe.
Is the HRE? Yeah, I should say Charlemagne was crowned king of the Romans, emperor of the Romans. But is the HRE actually a good vibe? Because most people don't vibe with the HRE.
So I think for a little while, yeah. By the time we're getting into the wars of religion, it's a joke. You still get a little bit of aura points because of like Eastern Orthodoxy, just having like the swag. There's a real swag gap. where like Eastern Orthodox, then like regular Catholics, and then like the Protestants are at the bottom because like come on, they just don't have the same drip. But I think like getting in on the ground floor of the Holy Roman Empire. Sure, yeah, not really holy or Roman, but
yeah, no,
or
like
technically an empire. But like, come on, we're not gonna let fucking semantics get in our way. Come on.
yeah, I mean, because that was the Franks had kind of had what we would now call Germany and France for a while before he came along, but Charlemagne added Italy to the whole thing, which was a real problem for like centuries of trying to sort out what exactly is going on with Italy. Is it held by anyone? Kuba, I think, is finally properly in the building, so I'll bring him on and see if his sound is working. So, hello, Kuba. You're obscured by the voting thing. I'm going to switch you around so I can actually see. Wait, I'm just remove this for now. Kuba's on. He's in the dark. We can't hear him if he's speaking. Someone asked, "Where's the bracket? Is there a group stage?" There's definitely not a group stage. We barely got through 32 last time. It took us 2 hours, definitely.
How long do you want? Like, are you asking for a 4 or 5 hour stream?
I think lots of people are.
Oh God. Yeah, we're not the people for you.
Yeah, the bracket's looking like this. It's double-sided this time. It's looking a lot better than it was. I don't know if that's zoomed in enough people for it to see, but we basically have a whole side of the bracket on here.
So
if anyone
I think for
arriving
me,
late, it's only pre-modern conquerors, and the other side of the bracket's looking like this.
You make a solid point for Philip of Macedon. I still think Charlemagne wins out on swag points, but if you want to make the argument for Philip swag, I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, he was murdered in the end at 46 by a jilted ex-male lover.
I think that's extra points.
And people say,
I think that's.
I mean, it's. I think this loses him aura points, but people say it was because this man was sexually assaulted by another man, and Philip failed to properly revenge that fact. So then he revenged himself upon Philip. He was also polygamous, alone among the Greeks. But I don't really like polygamy.
It's just like
Charlemagne was a real serial monogamist. He had like 5 wives that died.
I think I'm sticking with Charlemagne.
So yeah, I am voting just barely for Philip II. But I am I'm gonna put Charlemagne 3 in the bracket because we're still waiting for
let's see
Kuba.
Are we gonna give Kuba a vote?
To Kuba to be properly in, but I think people in the chat are backing Charlemagne. The only red drug voted. Kuba, hello. Yeah. Can you speak? I can't hear you. If you're speaking. Getting murdered is like getting conquered. Murder is highly localized conquering.
Leo J is correct that Kuba's cosplaying 2020, including his audio not working.
Kuba has got a great beard going. It's thicker than ever before, it looks like.
He's getting ready for his own Conqueror.
The poll is on the screen, Drizzle. It's there, visible on the screen. Look. Look. And it even describes how you act upon it. It describes how you can causally affect itself. Yeah, I'm giving chat the vote while Kuba sorts himself out.
It's funny that Valentine there thinks that people actually write for Soldier of Fortune. I think it's mostly just pictures of guns and then advertisements.
Can you hear me now?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, you sound like transmitting
scary.
from somewhere in the air. And
Now.
yeah,
Oh.
a little better.
Is it coming in?
Ooh, now
Oh,
you
there
sound
we go.
great.
So
You no
is
longer
the
sound like a
issue
robot.
volume?
You sound
sound
great.
great.
You're the
I no
right
longer
volume.
sound like
Everything,
a robot.
everything sounds great.
Don't change a thing.
Don't
Yes.
change a thing.
Miracle of miracles.
Fantastic. Kuba, were you voting for Charlemagne there?
It doesn't matter. I would not override the chat when I'm coming incorrect like this.
If well, only one person voted. You're not overriding chat. You're just overriding Red Droga. There is now another poll in the bottom left for you all. It is putting up
Le chat,
William the
c'est
Bastard.
Red Droga.
William the Bastard versus Cao Cao.
I think it's
Cao Cao.
Cao Cao, yes.
Chinese warlord.
You can type 1 in the chat for William the Bastard or 2 for Cao Cao. Kuba, do you want to tell us about Cao Cao? Because I think he was your idea.
Cao Cao, he's one of these figures from the Warring States period that, in addition to playing a key role raising one of the 3 kingdoms to prominence and ending the Han dynasty, Cao Cao also developed this reputation for strategic brilliance and dirty tricks. So I believe it was him who, having been successfully cornered by an enemy force, locked into a garrison where he is horribly outnumbered, no available means of defense. Instead of ordering his troops to hold on, he told them to hide, opened the entire city, and just sat in the central square playing one of those plinky string instruments that the Chinese have, completely disregarding the scouts that came, spotted him, and then the larger formations that came to take a look. When they reported back to the general that the city seems completely abandoned and Cao Cao was just playing music in the central square, his enemy assumed that this was a trap and abandoned the siege.
The Chinese, or at least the Chinese chroniclers, love tricks.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I think he also was the one who came up with a solution to a shortage of arrows, ammunition. This was during another kind of siege, and I think there was a river involved or a moat, and he would make straw decoys of soldiers and just sail them around enemy positions. So the decoys would get peppered with arrows, but because they're straw, they would break or anything, and then the ship would sail back, and they would recover all of the arrows. So
there's the Magic the Gathering
he's like
card
the
about
tricksy guy. Exactly. We were talking about Aura, Quinn.
Yeah, I mean,
think about it this way: who else here has a Magic the Gathering card?
Look, my vote is based on swag. To go off Valentine's question in chat, swag is a major consideration for me. It's all that I'm voting on. I don't care about how good you are at war. I care about the swag points. You get negative swag points for being English.
I mean, William the Bastard, as we'll come to, not English.
Okay, whatever.
Some kind of fucked up
Norman.
French
Okay,
Norman.
sure,
Psychic
whatever.
kind of fucker.
But King of England, you get negative points.
Right.
Doing tricks and hijinks. Right now, Cao Cao has my vote.
Diesel is suggesting that was not Cao Cao and it was in fact Lu Bu. William the Bastard.
Was it Lu Bu versus Cao Cao?
That would be.
Which one
be
was he? The arrows. Yeah.
There are a few other guys on this list who have faced each other in battle, which will be fun, or ones who are great admirers of each other, which will be fun if they ever get matched up. William the Bastard. William the Conqueror, he conquered England, he repressed England, defeated several revolts, imposed a new regime upon it, which then lasted basically forever. He didn't like go in any grand epic conquests, but I would say is just like a moderately high position on this sort of list of someone who tried various things, basically always succeeded, had no real setbacks. And yeah. Cao Cao never named himself emperor or ruled, even though you might think he had a chance to do so, I believe. Though I think his son did so, if I remember.
Yes, his son was set up.
That I read earlier. But I mean, I'm fine by splitting Cao Cao through.
Well, in that case, clearly I have to vote for William the Conqueror.
For what reason?
Well, like
Pity.
Inspired by Cao Cao, it feels like a good sower of discord move.
We're respecting Cao Cao. We're not giving him a 3-0. Our next round is Khalid ibn al-Wahid versus Justinian I. Khalid was one of Muhammad's first generals. Was the first real Muslim general. He actually beat the Muslims in an earlier battle, which is good going when you're facing an Abrahamic prophet. And then he switched sides to the Muslims, mostly won his battles, but then got beat by a Byzantine army because the Muslims were still fucking nowhere at that point. So the Byzantines just like gathered together like the garrison of a couple of fortresses, and that outnumbered the Muslims 3-1. Justinian I, on the other hand, was the Eastern Roman Emperor, the Byzantine Emperor, who tried to reconquer and restore the Roman Empire. I mean, there's probably others that have tried this, but he's the one that's notable because he actually kind of succeeded. Justinian I conquered Italy. He conquered Africa. Well, he didn't conquer himself. He led the administrative process, which another of our people on this list, Belisarius, actually led in Italy, in Africa, and in Spain, conquering most of these regions and restoring them to Roman rule for a time. The great blot generally on his rule is the fact that in doing so, he reconquered Italy, but in doing so, he destroyed Roman society. Roman society had survived very much the collapse of the Roman Empire and had been used administratively by other figures like Theodoric the Great, who's also on this list, to administer Italy and Rome. And generally, the peninsula was still Roman. But by initiating the very long Gothic Wars, Justinian led to the destruction of the Italian peninsula from its Roman society into something else. And it did not restore and recover its urban characteristics until the Renaissance and so on. But the question for us today is, does that fucking matter? For the stuff that we're assessing on, the fact that Italy remained prosperous, if it remained prosperous outside of Justinian's rule, I don't think it matters to us.
Yeah, I don't
The
think it does.
yeah, who cares about Roman society?
The Romans.
And since when do they get a vote?
Oh shit. Okay. Justinian was actually the one who like greenlit the construction of the Hagia Sophia.
Yep.
So he gets my vote. Best building. It's
I can't.
truly a stunning achievement of architecture. It's pictures do not do it justice. It's really breathtaking in person. So yeah, Justinian.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. You invaded Syria. Whatever. I don't care. Check out this building.
I'm just not sold on Khalid ibn al-Walid, right? So what? He expanded the borders of Islam for a little while. It feels like that was mostly the work of the camel and the tribesmen.
He did invade Syria, and he was involved in that process. But yeah, he wasn't.
Who hasn't invaded Syria? Hezbollah has invaded Syria. ISIS has invaded Syria. The Russians invaded Syria. The Turks invaded Syria.
Invaded Syria.
Exactly.
Syria is not. It doesn't even have like a cool name for when you invade. Like what? Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires.
Yeah,
What is Syria?
Syria's welcoming of
nearby
arms of empire.
Exactly. At the crossroads of empire, right? The doormat of empire.
I feel like you guys are denigrating my personal military achievements.
Well, sure, yeah.
Stefan, you won a siege in Syria. Who cares about that?
Well, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If someone I like kind of know did it, like, is it really that impressive?
Okay, Justinian's moving on 3-0 with an extra bonus point from chat. Attila the Hun versus Trajan. Attila the Hun, actually not one of my gopes, and reading his Wikipedia today, I did not become like massively impressed. Attila led the Huns, he invaded the Roman Empire, west and east, plundered them, looted them, but also lost a lot, or at least like ran aground without having fully conquered them. He failed to conquer Gaul, he never took Rome, he never took Byzantium, and he actually lost a battle to the Western Roman Empire, a big one in 451 to the Western Roman Empire, which is really quite impressive. And that was conducted by another man on our list, Flavius Attius, we'll get to later. I should do the poll. I forgot. Sorry. Stop poll. Stop poll. Yes. Attila the Hun versus Trajan. Well, Trajan, kind of boring, but he was the one. Well, okay. Guys, you won't believe this. He conquered Syria. Trajan was the one. Trajan was the one who conquered Syria and Mesopotamia for the Romans. He extended the Roman Empire to its greatest extent, as well as doing various reforms to make the empire stable. He's not that interesting of a character, but he is a successful one. And, I could go either way on them. What are you guys thinking?
I think that Attila, he had superior tactical sense. He came in when the Romans were weak. He ravaged a bunch of land. Territories, became wealthy, but he was essentially a land pirate and not a builder. Died in a drunken stupor, and everything fell apart before him. So I'm inclined to give it to Trajan.
So
despite Syria, right?
Go on, Quinn.
I think you get extra points for being a horse guy, but Trajan has kind of the Roman swagger. He also has a really well-designed typeface named after him.
What does
And
Attila have? I bet his typeface is
Attila-
fucking ugly as hell.
Yeah, no, it would be like crude scrawlings or like a
Yeah, it'd
some
be,
kind
it'd,
of
it'd be bizarrely Orientalist, even though
no, it would be bad.
Europe is whole life.
So my vote on swag and random design references has to go to Trajan.
Big win for Trajan here. What did chat say? Yeah, chat also said Trajan. Next up, we have Nader Shan versus John Hunyadi. I'm always entertained by the fact I struggle more with Eastern European names than fucking like Arab ones. Nader Shan was the last like Central Asian Persian conqueror. If you like, oh wait, shit. What I was gonna say was that Nader Shan engaged in this model of conquering that was basically like in a style of pre-modernity. But he did it in the 18th century. Thus, he shouldn't be on this fucking poll. He should have been on the other one. Whoopsie doopsie. But I got confused by the fact of his actions rather than his time period got me confused. So yeah, we have a man from 1730 in our poll. Whoopsie doopsie. Well, it's better than before when it became one where I actually had William the Bastard and William the Conqueror both on the poll. But yes, Nader Shan was an 18th century Persian leader. He conquered into basically everywhere around Persia, especially eastwards, into India, into the Central Asia, and so on and so forth. He basically warred into the Caucasus. He warred for his whole life, basically. And then at the end, it all fell apart because he'd completely bankrupt Persia. So big aura points for his life, big aura loss for his death. John Hunyadi, maybe, was a Hungarian guy who fought the Ottomans. He fought the Ottomans in the 1440s and the 1450s and the 1460s. And well, you know, he didn't actually beat them fully, as we all know what the result of the Varna Crusade was against the Ottoman Empire, as it's featured in European Universes 3, 4, 4, and 5. Yeah, so he lost. He didn't fully defeat the Ottomans, but basically stopped the Ottomans from conquering, from doing what they would do basically 100 years later. He stopped them in their tracks. He stopped them in Belgrade. He stopped them in Hungary. If it wasn't for the fact, though, that Nader Shah is on the wrong poll. Well, actually, no. I think I do actually support John here because John had a lasting legacy. He was named the first, what do you call it? Heritable. Like the first eternal count of Hungary. He gifted massive lands. He basically made sure that Hungary survived as a country for much longer until it was conquered by Suleiman the Magnificent, who we'll get onto later. While Nader Shan, you know, aura points for being a massive conqueror, never lost a battle, but ultimately kind of lost the war in the sense that after his death, it all went to pot. What are you thinking, Kuba?
I have trouble giving it to a Hungarian. The neighborhood is so small, right? Like he didn't even make it into the Balkans proper, right? All he did was fight this rearguard action against the Ottomans, and the Ottomans are not untouchable. It's not like he was fighting off Mars or something, or that he was the first decisive crack in global hegemonic imperial order. No, he was just like a Robert the Bruce level local potentate.
Yeah.
So Nader Shah, right? He made it all the way to India.
Quinn?
Nader Shah, I like the outfits more.
Quinn quickly Googled them and found that Nader Shah is dressing better I think Nashar. No, I don't think he was gay. Sadly.
I mean, like, I don't have strong opinions on like the how much swag points I'm giving to the Conquering here. So I have to default to Fitz.
Yeah. Fair. I'm gonna give it to Nader Shah on a 2-1. Very interesting matchup next. We've got Sargon of Akkad, not the YouTuber, versus Julius Caesar, who needs no introduction. Sargon of Akkad was the first conqueror, the first empire maker. He made an empire in 2400 BC. Conquered Mesopotamia, conquered all the way up to the Mediterranean, made a stable empire that lasted for a long time in various forms, basically kind of lasted up until... well, I mean, he started the idea of Akkadian Empire, Mesopotamian empires. The Akkadian Empire didn't actually last for 1,000 years or whatever. But like empires on that stretch of ground basically then existed for the next 2,000 years. For me, Sargon of Akkad is massive. The only reason I can't glaze him for longer is because he lived in 2400 BC. And so there's basically fuck all historical record apart from... I can't be like, oh, he conquered this city so goodly by doing this maneuver, because we don't know what the maneuvers he did were. And then, as we can see from chat, Julius Caesar, like the guy. Not the general's general. We'll get onto him later. But I think in public perception, easily a top 4 world history knower. Though, as I was discussing with Quinn before we started, his dreams of becoming Alexander the Great, of conquering the East, fell upon the fact that, as with quite a few of our guys in the Senate on this list, they were murdered by the Roman Senate.
Yeah.
Kuba, what are you thinking on these two? Oh, sorry, we're going to go on Quinn.
I was just going to say, I don't think the problem here is that this is like Sargon is not playing in a world of adversaries. This is like if you put LeBron James in like the NBA in the 60s.
Yeah.
Or
no, he's gonna fucking dominate, but against what?
Or it's like letting loose a bunch of Europeans with steel weapons, gunpowder, and fortified immune systems against a new world where there's only a few incipient political orders and no metallurgy beyond decorative precious metals.
Yes, kind of. I do think Montezuma was playing a much more complicated political game than he gets credit for. And like,
oh yeah, I'm on bracket next week. I'm putting him through many rounds if I can.
like right, people shit on the Aztec was a fucking... They had a complicated empire. But yeah, for the purposes of this conversation, like,
let me ask a clarifying question then. Who did Sargon the Conqueror conquer?
45 cities.
Any of them that mean anything?
well, but these are like,
Well, no, but they could have, Kuba. They could have become something, but they were smothered as babies by Sargon of Akkad.
but these are some of these are like proto cities. Like they're cities in the way that like Catalhoyuk is a city.
Sargon of Akkad created a professional court / army of 4,500 people.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
BC.
4,500?
4,500.
So it sounds to me like he was pushing on a bunch of open doors.
You guys are such haters. You do not respect the bronze age.
I mean, was he the only one with bronze too? Right. That also...
okay. Like who did Julius Caesar fight? Did Julius Caesar fight
Vercingetorix?
Did he fight Cyrus the Great? Did he fight any Greek army? Did he fight any Roman army? Or did he beat up on fucking Gauls and Celts? Oh, he beat 300,000 Gauls who were all naked.
Okay, all right. I'd like to see you fight 300,000 Gauls.
Naked Gaul.
Yeah, Caesar has my vote.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like a Roman senator, I also vote for Caesar.
It's got 100% of the vote in chat, so like, but I'm voting for Sargon every day. 1 point for Sargon, 2 points for Julius, and then a bonus point for Julius.
I am Googling really quick. Sargon gets a slight bonus point from me for giving himself the title King of the Universe.
Yes. King of the Four Corners, King of the Universe, King of the World. Up next, we have Theodoric the Great versus who the fuck are you? Oh, Majorian. I've forgotten which one he was, which does not spell well for his chances. But Theodoric the Great is basically... Oh, right. No, I love Majorian. I just forgot who he was. Theodoric the Great was basically the Roman Emperor, but not actually the Roman Emperor. After kind of the Western Roman Empire fell, Theodoric the Great was the guy that was sent by the Eastern Roman Emperor to basically sort out the situation over there. And he went in there and he conquered Italy and stabilized it. Not that impressive for me, but he's all right. Majorian. He, in 457, so we're not talking just like late Roman Empire, late Western Roman Empire. We're talking about as late as you can get. Majorian reconquered all of Italy, reconquered Gaul, fought the Germans on the Rhine, did all the kind of stuff, invaded Spain, was going to invade Africa, but couldn't because his boatmen betrayed him or something. But that's because the Vandals bribed them. The Majorian was such a great conqueror, he flipped on the barbarians. Instead of the barbarians bribing like decadent Romans to do shit for them, the barbarians had to switch to bribing people to keep back the fury of Majorian. Majorian was Roman Emperor from 457 to 461 when he returned to Rome and was stabbed to death in the Senate.
Doing the Julius Caesar.
Great Roman.
Yeah, exactly. Speed run.
Yeah. So yeah, Majorian, I love him. He's great. I don't like him as much as Flavius Attius, but I think mostly because Flavius Attius got a longer run. But I don't know what you two think.
Well, you've convinced me on Majorian, right? There's something beautifully economical about winning a strategic campaign by bribing a bunch of boatmen.
Oh, sorry. To be clear, maybe I messed up what I was saying. That he lost that campaign.
Oh,
he was trying to invade Africa, but the barbarians flipped on the Romans and they bribed the boatmen, and he couldn't invade Africa.
Fuck that then, Theodoric.
Rip. Quinn, what are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna go for whatever chat says. Which I think one said that they wanted Majorian but didn't actually vote, and Prairie Fire Neb is going to. So I will give my vote to whoever wins in the next 10, 15 seconds. Everyone vote quickly. Vote for your favorite guy. Vote for your favorite guy.
Yes!
Vote now. Engagement.
Nice. I think Majorian's done it. I'm going to end the poll right now. Oh yeah, there he goes.
Okay.
Is this a reason to support the DSA's call?
Oh my god, it's a tie again.
It's a tie again. Is this a reason to support the DSA's call to abolish the Senate?
Well, if we had a proper Roman Senate, I would say that, because then we get to, see,
exactly.
I don't know.
The tyrant Lincoln would have been stabbed to death by patriots.
Well, I'm thinking like modern, like what, like is Mark Milley going to get stabbed in front of the American public?
Yeah, it would make the confirmation hearings pretty high stakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Majorian is still taking that, just barely.
Oh, oops. I did it the wrong way around. Didn't believe in my boy enough. We've got Nux. Up next is Tamerlane/Timmer versus Valtinian the First. And Valtinian First, I've also forgotten who he is. Let me check. Which one is he? I think he's just another guy, yeah. He stabilized the Western Roman Empire in the 4th century. He's like Majorian, but much less interesting. Up against Timur, though. Timur was like the next up Genghis Khan. He did the best of all the Genghis Khans, apart from Genghis Khan. He was an actual descendant of Genghis Khan, though by quite a separated margin.
Well, he's like a distant cousin.
Yeah, I mean, his empire was kind of more of the kind of generic, like Central Asian, West Asian kind of empire. It didn't like push into like Europe or China or anything like this. He planned to go back to China and conquer the Yuans. Sorry, to reimpose the Yuan Empire there, but didn't actually get there before he just died of gout or some bullshit. He did win every battle he was involved in, so I think he's moving on in this round. But I don't back him to like win the bracket or anything like this.
I like Tamerlane because of the disability representation.
Yeah, he was some kind of like hunchback, something like that, right?
My understanding is that his name is
leg?
Timur. Yeah, exactly. That he had a deformity or injury to his leg. Which makes it funny when Red Droga says Tamerlane in a walk here, because it would be more of a shuffle.
Yeah, I mean that's why you focus on being a horse guy. You focus on being Genghis kind of individual, because you can actually walk to the end of the street. Tamerlane was smart enough not to attack Poland. I would say
I'm giving my vote to Timur because he had a better hat.
I failed to actually properly thank Prairie Fire Neb for their donation earlier, who said that Caesar marched an army through Syria, so winner. We'll see how far you can get on your $2 and his march through Syria.
That is the bid now. Bidding starts at $2.
Where's normal chat? I'm going mad. You said Timur?
Yeah. I think that we should also quantify votes, because we're not limited to 3 votes here, right? I think that let's say $2 buys a vote.
Okay, it buys a numerical vote.
Yeah. $2 is 1 vote. So if you want to flip the tides,
if you're feeling it,
you can override all of us if you spend enough money.
We're like the boatmen in the Mediterranean, right?
That's the first side of the bracket done. First 8 matchups. In the second round, we'll have Charlemagne versus Cao Cao, Justinian I versus Trajan, Nader Shah versus Julius Caesar, and Majorian versus Timur. But first, we need to go over to the other side of the bracket, where we're looking at Themistocles versus Babur.
The elephant.
I actually can't remember which one Babur is. I think Babur is the one that conquered India.
Babur was a conqueror of India, and I believe that he's Muslim, but a hyper tolerant one.
Yeah, he was woke Muslim, especially later on in his career. I remember the article now.
He was basically the Mamdani of India.
Wow. Themistocles, our friend Themis, he was an Athenian. I think he gets a lot of points because not only did he defeat the Persians in sea battle, but he actually convinced, as a politician, first Athens to build the navy, and then led the navy, which then beat the Persians. He was a big populist politician. He was the Mamdani of Athens at the time. We've got a real Mamdani versus Mamdani matchup right now. He was a populist politician, a winner of battles, and thus, because he was an Athenian and had these traits of being a winner, he was exiled from the city. He went to then, obviously, having defeated the Persians, he went to the court of the Persians, to the king of the kings, and was like, hey, he said very wokely. He arrived at the court and was like, hi, I'd like to offer my service to you, king of kings, but first I need a year to like learn Persian language and culture so I can like be properly acclimatized, and I'll go and do that and I'll come back. And the king of kings was like, great, have fun, and then come back. He came back and became the king of kings, like most trusted advisor. He was given a load of cities to get tribute from, and he's probably the first person to have his face put on coins.
Well, that feels like a mistake on the part of the Persian emperor.
It's interesting, and obviously, I think when Alexander invaded, they did lots of. Actually, that's not true. So, the Greeks often went to join the Persian Empire and were normally given very high positions if they made anything of themselves. And I was going to say that all changed when Alexander came, but actually, the guy who like most faced off Alexander, who dealt him, if not defeats, like his strongest draws or whatever, was actually a Greek. But that actually led to a point where I think the Persians were heavily dependent on Greeks. Like Greeks in the end of the 4th century BC were really, really in ascendance. So it was kind of just how many Greeks did you have on your side? Greeks, by the way, the first people to invent not running away and not looting the enemy's baggage immediately after you think you're winning. And using those two traits, that was enough to win for hundreds of years until the Romans arrived with basically the same kind of body plan, but also short swords. Do you guys have any strong feelings on these two? Oh, I mean, I haven't really introduced Baba.
Yeah.
I guess Kuba did.
Yeah.
As hard as it is, and I think that it's easy for us now to backward cast the idea of a unified India and lose sight of how challenging that conquest actually is. It's not like Mesopotamia. It's more like conquering all of Europe. Right?
It's not Syria.
Getting India together. It's not Syria. Not only that, but it's incredibly fractious too. And Babur apparently was good at the administrating and maintaining unity part. But I gotta say, when you described Themistocles arriving in Persia and being like, I will assimilate, my immigrant heart, right, grew 2 sizes that day. So it's hard for me to deny him my point.
Yeah, Babur founded the Mughal Empire, which was a big empire.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story of our friend Themis does appeal to me more.
Babur does get extra points in my book because I'm pretty sure the Pakistani copy of it's one of our missiles. Maybe Tomahawk?
They call it the
right.
Babur.
Like they like reverse engineered one of our missiles and they call it the Babur. And it's it's a very functional missile.
It's very cool that Pakistan is like a literal third world nation with a first world air force. And not like there's lots of countries which are like, oh, we're a shithole, but we have like lots of nice planes. Pakistan actually has like a functional air force which is good at like shooting down other planes and doing things.
Well, Pakistan is it's a competent military with a third world country attached to it.
Yeah.
Like that Pakistan is where the term deep state comes from.
Yeah. Them and Turkey.
Yeah,
I'm voting for Themis.
Yeah, I mean he's got the whole like the Lawrence of Arabia charm to him. minus the fun like conflicted gay subtext of it all. Well, I don't know, maybe there was that.
Yeah, maybe there was. I think Baba might have been gay too, so.
Oh, well, there's another tie. So yeah.
Kuba, what are you thinking?
Oh, I gotta go for my boy, the immigrant.
Nice.
I identify with that tale. He's a hero to us all.
Next up on the bracket, we have Mahmud of Ghazni versus Suleiman the Magnificent. Ghazni, I think, is just like a less successful version of Babur, like operate in the same region, played in the same division, not scoring as many points. Suleiman the Magnificent was the guy who got up to the gates of Vienna with the Ottomans, but did not get in. But before that, conquered a lot of Europe. He was the one that finally beat down Hungary and basically destroyed Hungary for hundreds of years.
All right,
He had
I've got a
really big hat.
Yeah, I've got to run, but I want my final thought to be: I vote for Suleiman truly 100% based on the hat. It's such a good hat. I don't know if it's like exaggerated in paintings, but even if it is, come on, that's a great hat.
So there is, I've got a hat story about Suleiman the Magnificent. If you see pictures of some medieval popes, they've got this kind of iron mitre style hat going on. It looks like a candle flame or something. That's that shape, point at the top, otherwise rounded. And along the curvature, there are tiaras, like multiple tiaras, to indicate that the Pope has many crowns. And I think that he's got 3, and one is supposed to be like spiritual power, one is supposed to be the papal states, and one is supposed to be like universal Christian jurisdiction, something like that. So it's this 3-layer crown cake. And apparently there was some pope that had sponsored, that had paid for commissioned an even more elaborate version from a Venetian or a Genoese jeweler, but stiffed him. And so it was waiting for payment. And when Suleiman found out about it, he's like, oh, well, I'm buying it, but I want you to add more crowns. So there's a Suleiman version of the papal helmet, which has got 7 crowns embedded into it. So, you know, like that right there, that's some swag. That's some aura. That's,
Right.
oh, but $4.99?
$4.99.
Like 2.5 votes.
Yeah, it's 2.5 votes. I'm gonna vote for Suleiman based on swag as I head out, but I think I've just been outweighed by some clever bribery.
Goodbye.
Peace out, guys.
Yes, now that there's money on the side of Mahmud here, we should give him some reps. It's Quinn. Okay. People, you also do this, Kuba, where you just don't turn the camera off. You close the tab, and just I have to do it. It's like, okay. I want to check at the end to see if it's still on. If he's just actually just left the house like that. Mahmud apparently never lost a battle.
He
don't
was
know.
Sultan of the Ghaznavid Empire for over 30 years.
I did read all the Wikipedia articles before I went on, but some of them are kind of forgettable, especially ones that don't have, like, you know, all Muhammads are the same to me, mate. Okay, so we've got so Drizzle is given 2 for Suleiman, and Prairie is given 2 for Suleiman. Wait, no, for Suleiman to lose. Sorry. So 2 for Mohammed, and then 2 for Suleiman. So in the end, currently at the moment, we're working out to back where we started.
No, that's not true, because we've got Quinn's vote, which is +1 for Suleiman.
Okay, Prairie just came in within $2.
Oh, shit. Yeah, now he's balanced off Quinn, so it really is up to the two of us.
It's up to the two of us, yeah. Despite the fact I haven't really glazed him, I am inclined to vote for Muhammad, whatever he's called.
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud of Krasny.
What do you think, Kuba?
I
So
mean,
what do we have?
I like. I told that Crown story, Suleiman the Magnificent. He was a baller. It's hard for me to vote against him in this, which puts us in a very well. It looks like Dizzle McFizzle may have solved this. May have broken the tie for us.
But we can also give but Drizzle wants another one for Suleiman, right?
Yes.
But then I guess chat's also giving one to Suleiman. Then I give one to Ghazi. And then you give another one to Suleiman.
Yes. I think that's where we're at.
Okay. Phone lines are closed. Don't give us any more money.
However, if you want to defeat Suleiman the Magnificent, he will be touchable in the next round.
True. Very, very true. FTNR just discovered a corrupt infinite money list. The thing is, this is exactly what Jason does not do. Jason is not a sellout, unlike me, who's absolutely a fucking sellout. And so can't do things like this. I will absolutely do this kind of thing.
To be fair, I feel like this was my innovation from last time.
Oh yeah, but I'm willing to implement it. So yeah, putting Suleiman forward on a 6-5, managing Ghazi to have outvoted everyone so far. Up next, we have Saladin versus Belisarius. Saladin is known for having fought and defeated the Crusaders, but actually spent like 90% of his life fighting other Muslims, successfully mostly. He took out the Fatimids in Egypt. He was welcomed without a fight into Damascus, though, as we've noted, that's not much of an achievement.
The welcome mat of Empire.
Dizzle is spamming Saladin in chat because he's a Kurd. He was a Kurd. Yeah, it says in his Wikipedia. I was wondering if there would be like a massive drama on the Wikipedia about what his nationality was, but now it just says Kurd. Belisarius, on the other hand, was the guy who did all the Justinian stuff. He conquered Italy and Africa, and when I say Africa, I mean the Roman province of Africa, Tunisia, southern Spain, Saladin, the Kurdish Stefan. Belisarius, I also learned today, was brought out of retirement at the end of his life to fight like some like offshoot of the Huns or whatever.
The Avars, the Allens.
Yeah, some kind of, I think they were Bulgar adjacent. So they got him out of retirement. They gave him 300 veterans. And he rode north to what is now Bulgaria. And he beat him. Which would be a great movie.
300 Part 2.
Belisarius and his grizzled old men go north. From chat, though, Saladin is going to win this one.
Oh my god. You could make Belisarius like look like Rick Perry or one of these other Tom Tillis central casting Heartland guys, and make the grizzled veterans like spec ops operator chud types, chud avatars, and then really lean in on the whole Muslim adjacent Bulgarian, Middle Eastern, dark-skinned foreigners coming in vibe, and you could probably get some Elon money
So we've got 70% for Saladin in chat. We've got a money vote for Saladin. Kuba, what are you thinking?
Well, obviously, I have to go with Belisarius. I would actually like to combine the two into a single composite warlord called Salisarius, because Salisarius is an awesome name. But
well, the problem is
yeah,
then I'll also vote for Belisarius, so we'll end up at 2-2.
2-2 until.
But I want to give Prairie Fire a win, because Prairie Fire spent $8 or something on the last round and lost.
I'll pivot back to Saladin in that case.
Okay, we'll put Saladin through. I won't tot up the scores, but I'll just put it through as a 2-1. Next on the list, we have Cyrus the Great versus Pyrrhus. Pyrrhus, not the greatest conqueror ever, not one of the goats, but a goat in my heart. I love him. I love his silly adventure across Europe. For those that don't know, Pyrrhus was a general during the post-Alexander collapse of the Macedonian Empire. There was a lot going on. He fought in a lot of battles. He lost a lot of battles. He won a lot of battles. He won lots of battles that he won the battles, but lost so many men that the new kind of thing, a Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic victory named after him. I could say his name, but then not say Pyrrhic. Like Pyrrhus, Pyrrhic. Pyrrhus.
I've got to stop deferring to you on matters of pronunciation just because you have the fancy accent.
Absolutely. Pyrrhus, he conquered, he became king of Macedon, then stopped becoming king of Macedon. He was always king of Epirus, which is basically now
Albania.
Yeah, like southern Albania and, well, Epirus, what's still called Epirus in Greece. He then was invited to Italy to beat the Romans, to just destroy the Romans. And he went to the other kind of Macedonian kings and were like, should we get some guys together to do this? And they were like, yeah, let's destroy these Romans. Fuck these lands.
Away game.
And so they gave him loads of elephants, and he got 30,000 men, and they crossed across to Italy, and they all drowned. Everyone but Pyrrhus and 2,000 guys drowned. And so he landed in Italy. He had 2,000 guys. He had to create a whole new army just by bullying the Italians into giving him men. Because obviously
he was in Sicily for that, because there was a whole bunch of Greek colonies. Syracuse, Neapoli, right?
Yeah, he does this. That's to be clear, Kuba, he does do this, but that's another story. So yes, but he goes to Italy. He arrives there, finds obviously the city-states want to be saved, but don't want to have all their young men die to actually do that. But he manages to convince them. He beats the Romans twice, but just like Hannibal, not in a decisive way. He loses too many men. The Italian city-states start becoming more hostile to him. When I say Italian city-states, I mostly mean Greek city-states that are in Italy. They become hostile to him. So he's like, fuck it, whatever. He goes to Sicily. He conquers Sicily from the Carthaginians. But then all the Greek city-states get upset with him. So he leaves. He says, fuck Sicily. He goes back to Epirus. In Epirus, he's like, fuck the Greeks. He starts conquering southern Greece. But then during a battle in Sparta, someone, maybe a civilian, maybe a soldier, throws a roof tile at his head and he dies. And that was Pyrrhus. He's obviously going to fucking lose this round, but I wanted to tell his story.
It's a story that's worth telling. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go with it. Cyrus was always a personal hero of mine. I had a great deal of admiration for him. And recently, when his name comes up, I feel an aversion rather than a positive affect. And I realize it's because of the Israelis pushing the Cyrus Accords.
Oh right, yeah.
And that's not his fault. That's just not his
No.
fault, right? So, yeah, got to give it to Cyrus. Although, I mean, Pyrrhus has the great line, like, another victory like this and I am ruined.
Yeah.
The Greeks were good at the epigrams, eh?
Yeah, I mean, Cyrus the Great, I'm probably going to back him like every round going up to the final. He like Sargon of Akkad, who you guys cruelly destroyed in the first round. Sargon of Akkad made the first empire, but Cyrus the Great made the first like massive empire. He made an empire in like 700 BC, which was like just absolutely insanely large.
He conquered Egypt, right?
No, that was actually his son. Cyrus the Great, he did Mesopotamia, which you won't be impressed by. Persia and to
Syria. Did he conquer Syria? Did he make it to Syria?
He did conquer Syria, Anatolia, and Central Asia. He went up to the Indus, I think, like a famous young man that is not included on this poll. But he didn't get Egypt. That was for his son. And then his grandson, I think, was the one that fucked up invading Greece. But it might have been his son, actually. But yeah, Cyrus.
It was Cyrus, Darius, Xerxes, or the big three.
I think you are right. Pyrrhus. No, Pyrrhus is not going through. I'll give him a point, though. Next up, we've got Heracles versus Matthias Corvinus.
Heraclius, not Heracles.
Heraclius was an interesting guy. I liked including him on the poll because he actually lost a lot. He lost and got beaten up a lot. But I wanted to have him on the poll because he was a guy that lost and got beaten up a lot, but then like reformed the army and got back to it, you know? And then, oh, fuck's sake. He lost a lot and got back to it. He got beaten up by the Arabs, especially a lot. He got beat up by the Persians first. He was a participant in the last Roman-Persian war. He got beaten up by the Persians, but then he reformed the army, got back into it, reconquered Egypt, came back at it. Then the Arabs appeared. He got mostly beaten up by the Arabs, but unlike the Persian Empire, he got beaten up, reformed the empire, managed to actually stop the Romans being destroyed by the Arabs, defended the heartland of the empire in Anatolia. And yeah, pretty good. Not like a top 4 guy, but pretty good. He did reconquer Syria. I wasn't going to mention that, but he did. He's up against Matthias Corvinus, who must be our most aura-filled name of the day.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The son, I believe, of our previous Hungarian.
Unadi.
He first got the crown of Bohemia, I believe. He became Duke of Austria, King of Hungary, and then fought against the Ottomans a lot, and I think was a bit more successful than his dad. And also at a time where the Ottomans were a more significant threat. I could go either way, but Heracles is getting the points. I said that wrong.
Heraclius.
What do you think?
Yeah. For me, it's a choice between a loser and a Hungarian. So, 2 losers. I think I have to vote Heraclius because Matthias Corvinus never even managed to conquer Syria.
True. If he'd really pushed hard, he could have, because obviously the Ottomans had by that time.
Yeah, like it's his own fault for not trying. I guess all of his European kingdoms, maybe there was a bit of coastline in Croatia, but he was mostly a landlocked fighter.
He should have gone on crusade.
That's a good point, right?
Up next, we have the only one of our generals that I mainly did not familiarize myself with just from general ambient noise or Wikipedia. We've got Alexios the First of the Byzantium Empire against Hannibal, the general's general, the man that every general lists as the greatest general ever, which I find very interesting. But Alexios the First, he had a book written about him by his daughter, Anna, which is a really fun read. He started empiring at 14. He stabilized the situation in the east as a boy. He then went on to stop the evil Normans from conquering Greece. And he just spent his whole life fighting and fighting and fighting. He actually, one of his most significant things is he sent a papal legate. He sent a diplomat to the papacy. Let's not try and use the words. I might be getting wrong. He sent a diplomat to the papacy to ask them to go on a crusade in the east, which they did. And that was the first crusade, which obviously, once we get to number 4, didn't work out for the Romans. But those first 3 really did. And they really helped out in the east. Hannibal doesn't need any introduction. He went up into Italy, across the Alps, did a lot of bullshit, beat the Romans like 4 times, but not in a way that mattered. He campaigned against the Romans, I think, for 15 years in Italy, but couldn't destroy them. Beat them many times. And then when it mattered, when Scipius Africanus sailed to Carthage and was in Africa, Hannibal sailed back, and in promptly the battle which mattered the most, fucking lost. At that point, Carthage was completely crippled and destroyed because of his defeat there. So yeah, Hannibal, a lot of aura, did some really cool stuff, won some great battles, humiliated the Romans. But I think because history is told by the Romans and history is told by people who stand the Romans, I think Hannibal is overhyped just because he beat the Romans 4 times and then lost when it mattered. So he didn't actually dispute their rise to power. But I don't know. It would be crazy to put Hannibal out in the first round, but I wouldn't mind doing it.
He'd be our Obama. So on this note, I was a little surprised to see that our bracket is missing Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucosus, who was one of arguably the architect of the Roman effort that ultimately defeated Hannibal, which consisted of running away. You said that the great Greek innovation which allowed them to dominate for so long was not running away. But when faced with Hannibal, right, the Romans, who not ran away the Greeks, are like, maybe we should go back to running away.
I mean, I think the big Roman innovation was just like being able to replace casualties.
Oh, yes.
That was the one thing they were good at.
Mm-hmm. That, okay, we lost 10 legions, but I will probably lose 10 more. But the 21st, so the Fabian strategy, the Fabian technique is basically the origin of scorched earth and retreating to the interior, defense in depth, this type of approach. Ultimately, it worked to exhaust Hannibal enough so that he had to ultimately withdraw without ever being decisively defeated. Right? Every time the Romans thought they could stand and fight, they discovered that they could not. But they could, as Fabian told them, always run away, right? So, I feel obliged to give it to Hannibal because apart from his strategic genius, he also did force a fundamental rethink of his enemy's strategy and the development of a completely different doctrine of defensive warfare.
Yeah, I think I should have put less guys who stabilized the Roman Empire in this list and more guys from the Roman Republic. Do you know the story about Scipius Africanus asking Hannibal who the greatest general was?
No, tell me.
Okay.
And why is Scipio Africanus not on this list?
Forgot. But maybe it was because I remembered this story. So when he found Hannibal somewhere in exile, and Scipius Africanus was like, "Who are like your top 3 generals?"
Mhm.
Because obviously Scipius Africanus is top 3. Well, Hannibal then himself, or like Alexander, Hannibal, me, something like this. Hannibal was like, well, and then he was expecting that Hannibal would of course say back Scipius.
Yeah.
But you know what Hannibal said? Hannibal was like, well, apart from me, my next pick would be Pyrrhus. And then afterwards, Alexander the Great. And yeah, he didn't mention Scipius. But I mainly say this to say because, Hannibal's the general's general, but Pyrrhus is the general's general.
And Scipio Africanus is perhaps not the general's general, just a winner.
Just a winner.
I heard this great story about Scipio Africanus, and he understood the mentality of the rank and file soldiers very well, and the importance of superstition, portents, omens, that kind of thing. And the arrival onto Africa of the first Roman legions that were going to bring the fight to Carthage was a really big deal. The troops disembarked first, or I can't remember what the exact order was, but the arrival of Africanus himself, the commander, disembarking was a big and ceremonial moment. Guy fucking trips down the gangplank, lands on his hands and knees on the beach in front of all of his soldiers, who at that point, right, like the notion that, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster, we're fucked, is starting to roll around in their helmeted little brains. And Scipio understands, right? He fell, he face plant in the dirt right on the beach, and he's there on his hands and knees looking down at the ground and figures, okay, this is salvageable. He bends down deliberately to kiss the earth, and grabs 2 fistfuls of sand in his hands, turns to face his troops and says, "Africa, I possess you." And then they cheer, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was some good salesmanship, right? Like somebody was listening when their PR consultant was giving them the basics of brand management.
Next up, we've got Edward the Black Prince versus Flavius Attius. Edward the Black Prince.
He's one of your people?
Yes. He trebucheted across France, in Aquitaine mainly, conquered lots of stuff, was then also ordered by his father to stop other people from trebucheting around, trying to get control of the mercenary companies. Won lots of battles, none of them really mattered. Came back to England and then fought in Parliament for a while. His main thing was he died young, never became king, and said his like baby brother, or maybe his son did. And then that was the time where England should have won the 100 Years' War, but because there was actually a baby in charge, they didn't.
It's really woke of you to have a black prince back in those days. Was he also a fresh prince?
It was because of his dread reputation.
The one thing generally speaking, when it comes to the 100 Years' War and all of your adorable rich Westerner rivalry with France, I generally side with the Gauls, not least of all because although they only have two names for their kings, like it's 20 Louis, and then Edward here or there, and Henri here or there. They have the best sobriquets to distinguish them, right? There's the Sun King. There's
they've
Louis
got like
the Fat.
Charles the Pathetic or whatever.
Yes. There's Charles the Bald.
Actually, Charles the Insane one is actually known as Charles the Good.
My personal favorite is Louis the X, the Universal Spider.
Nice.
He clearly picked up Scipio Africanus's PR guy.
You know what the main inspiration for Game of Thrones was? The Song of Ice and Fire.
It was the War of the Roses.
No, like in terms of, well, I mean, historically, yes, but in terms of like literary material, it was a series of semi-fictionalized novels about the French kings in this 100-year period, especially Charles the Not So Good, which I do forget the name of. But Flavius Aetius was another late Western Roman guy. He's the one mentioned earlier who beat Attila, which for an Eastern Roman, not that impressive. For a Western Roman in 451, very impressive, because what the fuck are you working with?
Yeah, did the Huns get a cold or something? They just weren't feeling it that day.
So yeah, he stabilized the situation in Italy. He stabilized the situation in Gaul. He then went back to Ravenna, I think it was the capital then, and was stabbed.
Oh, that's so sad.
And was stabbed to death, but not by the Senate, by the Emperor.
It's because he had gotten the Senate to be prepared to stab to death the Emperor, and then the Emperor's like, not this time.
No, I mean, I think by all accounts, Flavius Aetius was entirely loyal, and the Emperor is one of the, the jealous, stupid ones. Because about a week later, two of Flavius's mates came to kill the Emperor, and all the soldiers did nothing. They just watched it happen.
That's got to be a rough way to go.
But you shouldn't stab to death your best general. Just an insane thing that people used to do.
Ivan the Terrible beat his own son to death.
Immortalized in a nice painting.
I think I remember one of the debates in grad school around culture and the significance, the importance of individuals, right? Like, because at Berkeley, everyone was over the great man theory of history, but the question was, do individuals even matter, or is it all structural forces? And I remember pointing out that when you look at the trajectories of Russia versus the US, the great founding leaders, the examples of national heroic leadership that the US tends to draw on are Washington and Lincoln. Whereas in the case of Russia, it's Ivan the Terrible and Peter the Great. And maybe that tells you something about the political systems that they're going to foster.
I'm going Flavius Aetius.
It's funny because just to try to knock some Romans off of the chart, I'm inclined to go with Edward the Black Prince.
I mean, I'm not terribly, because Majorian's gone through anyway, so it's fine to me. But Edward the Black Prince, I thought, is like almost the weakest guy on here. But the chat's gone for it, so
yeah, there you go. The Lionel Messi of our bracket.
And then last up in the first round, we've got Lu Bu versus Ashoka. Ashoka, like an Indian guy from the Mauryan Empire. I don't think he's even the right one for who really did the Mauryan Empire's conquest, but I think he's actually the one that we have like a slight amount of records of. Yeah, he had a big empire in India. He destroyed some guy in a horrible war, and then he became like a Buddhist. That's basically the story. Do you remember which of the Lu Bu's another Four Kingdom guy? But do you remember any specificities of him?
No, I'm realizing that I've conflated Lubu and Cao Cao in my mind, and can no longer trust my my sense of who did what.
Who did what? Well, we can just awkwardly Google it for the first time. Actually, I can't because I can't scroll on this page. You can Google it. But yeah, this is one where like it's not that interesting of a matchup. Will an Indian get a vote? Ask soon. Will an Indian go to the round of 16? I mean, a Chinaman is through. Will an Indian?
Yeah, let's give it to the Indian just based on representation.
Wow, we're so woke
And
over here.
Cao Cao is better, given that Cao Cao is the one who defeated and led to the death of Lu Bu, right? Obviously, which gives us Charlemagne versus Cao Cao.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no more polls because I couldn't pre-make them for rounds I didn't know who would win. But I will make one for the final, I believe, because also these rounds should go faster, so it's not that useful to have the poll. I'll just be taking it on and off. Because we're not doing the introductions anymore. Charlemagne versus Cao Cao. I'm going Charlemagne.
Yeah, I feel as though Charlemagne created. He's almost first emperor material. He is first emperor material, right? Therefore, even the most important guy settling an interregnum, ending a warring states period, doesn't really match up to the founding emperor of Western civilization. Like, Charlemagne is kind of the model for the Warhammer 40k God Emperor, isn't he?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Justinian the First versus Trajan. I'm going Justinian the First.
I'm going Trajan.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, chat. It's up to you. Do you like Justinian the First more or Trajan first? Because my thought is Trajan, like, is just less interesting. Justinian the First, like, had a much bigger struggle to go on, especially because he had the massive plague, which we haven't mentioned before until now.
Yeah, but Trajan was a pagan.
True, that does get points.
Also,
Why can I not scroll on this page?
I believe that ultra-Zionist Israelis, is he the one whose column they spit on?
Oh, yes, because he was the leader during
Temple.
I don't know if he destroyed the temple because he was actually in the Diaspora War. That was under his rule. I don't know if the Great Russian Rebellion. What the fuck am I saying? I don't know if the Great Jewish Rebellion happened under Trajan. I think it was actually a bit later, a bit earlier.
No, I may be wrong about that. I know there is one emperor that is absolutely despised by the most sort of revival Zionists.
Chat's pretty split too.
Justinian built a very tacky church.
Trajan has the longest argument in favor. Oh yeah, Justinian did stab Belisarius. Wait, did he? I don't think he did. Unless it was really late on. Because Justinian got Belisarius out of retirement for that battle. Can we fact check Justinian blinding Belisarius? I think balance of probability though.
He did not.
He did not. I don't think he did. But I'm still going to give it to Trajan because I think
that apparently is some medieval fake news.
Ah, nice. Frankish slander.
Frank, precisely. Nader Shah versus.
We've got Nader Shah versus Julius Caesar. We've got out of time accidental modern figure versus Julius Caesar. An interesting thing. So Nader Shah's empire collapsed when he died. Julius Caesar didn't collapse, but it went into a permanent crisis. Well, not permanent crisis, but like a century-long crisis. Actually, no, that's not true. It was like more like 30 years, wasn't it? Because actually Julius Caesar was intervening near the end of that crisis. and because it was Augustus was sorted out, and that was just after.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, really, the death of Caesar is what put the pieces. It's what triggered the great sorting out that led to the Augustinian Golden Age.
Yeah.
Which is funny because do you get points for the stuff that your assassination triggered?
Like maybe. I guess it's a thing of like, does it clearly and directly lead from something you did? But I guess we just put Caesar through.
Yeah, we put Caesar through. He landed on but did not subdue Britain, right?
Yes, he came, he saw, he conquered. That's not true. He came, he like looked around, and he left.
I like the idea of him being part of his greatness, being like, and he correctly recognized that Britain was not worth the effort.
Yeah, this place is going to be a permanent drain in our coffers for the next 300 years.
Oh, they jealously protect their piles of rocks.
Next we've got Majorian. Who is our late Roman Empire speedrun guy. He also conquered Gaul in Spain, much faster than Julius Caesar, and then was stabbed to death, just like Julius Caesar. But unlike Julius Caesar, the stuff was lost after he went. Though I don't know if he can be really blamed for that. And against him, we've got Tamerlane, who was, Genghis Khan Jr.
Yeah, I kind of want to pass Majorian through just to have Caesar 1.0 versus Caesar 2.0 in the next head-to-head.
Yeah. I'm perfectly happy with that. I think definitely chat is blacking Timur, which is fair enough. I think it's the correct answer. But
is this where we overrule? Is this where we
No, I mean it's not overruling. We're in charge. They get one vote if it's needed.
You hear that, chat? You have to suborn one of us to disagree. That's the only way that your vote matters.
Over on the other side, we've got our friend Themis.
Themistocles
versus Suleiman the First. I also kind of want to mark Themis because he's the only naval guy we have on here. Not a land battle guy. Sea battle guy. But
and you put him over Suleiman the Magnificent?
No, not really.
Yeah,
I think
kind of has to be.
I would also say, because I think Suleiman did win also sea battles, and not personally, but like.
Oh yeah, he did. My understanding is that Ottoman galleys, not dependent on wind, in the Eastern Mediterranean, just rolled up the Venetian and Greek ships that had been plying those waters. And the Ottoman Navy was quite formidable. We end up with the Barbary pirates, in my understanding.
Is Suleiman the Magnificent the guy that did the Ottoman Navy?
Yeah, I think he was.
Okay, then in case he wins, right? Because that's the only thing that,
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's Suleiman the Magnificent and not like Suleiman the Pretty Good.
Yeah. Next, we've got a Saladin versus Cyrus, and for me, it's Cyrus 100%.
Yeah, it's Cyrus. It's Cyrus. It's Cyrus. And Suleiman versus Cyrus may actually be the real matchup.
Heracles versus Hannibal.
Heraclius versus Hannibal.
Were you correcting my pronunciation, or were you voting?
I feel as though we're a bit of a, it's like pick your loser, you know?
Yeah.
And in some ways it's the exact opposite dynamic, because Heraclius.
I mean, this bottom half of the bracket is really easy. Like one of these four is going to go. We shouldn't say that about Hannibal. Like Hannibal's meant to be a big thing, but like for me, he's not.
Well, this is a very interesting pairing because Heraclius basically lost a whole bunch of battles, but managed to shore up the core of the Byzantine Empire so that it persisted. And Hannibal won every battle, but strategically fucked up so bad that he lost the core.
Yeah.
And when you see things in that way, Heraclius, right?
Yeah. We're going against chat again, though.
Yeah.
Chat is spamming too. But yeah, I was always planning on putting Hannibal out early.
Hannibal did not cross the Alps to get this slander. You make a very compelling argument, Connor, but I think Prairie Fire, Nebraska makes an even stronger case for Saladin.
Okay, but Prairie Fire has put that vote in really late. Because that's
we're not going to be revisiting this one. Give him 1 point though, right? A symbolic.
I don't know, like Prairie Fire. I can go back and change that, but do you want something else changed?
Yeah, like, which might still matter.
Like, do you care at all about Edward the Black Prince versus Ashoka?
We'll murder one of them.
You can choose, because I don't give a shit.
Exactly, we don't care. You can pick which one we kill.
But if you don't care about that, I don't know.
We'll roll your vote forward.
Yeah, we'll see.
But until the paymaster decides, who do you have in Edward versus Ashoka?
No, I'm saying I'll leave that for now in case he cares to intervene on it. I'll just go back to the other side of the bracket. And we can start thinking about Charlemagne versus Trajan.
That's Charlemagne.
Yeah. Trajan's just, I guess, a bit boring.
The thing is that Charlemagne started with a bit of France.
Okay, Prairie is just backing Caesar. When Caesar needs 2.5 votes, he's giving it to Caesar.
Okay. Interesting. Then let's give it to... I'm going to give this one to Charlemagne. My way is Charlemagne.
Yeah, we'll go back and do...
Edward versus Ashoka?
Yeah.
Ashoka, then.
I mean, I would actually go Edward the Black Prince just because it's such a funny idea for such a non-entity to get into the quarterfinals.
I mean, we already have Heraclius representing the non-entity set. Connor suggests that Muhammad could be on this list, and it's like, no, he could not.
Yeah, I mean,
we know what happens when certain sensitivities should be respected. The only place for Muhammad would be with the goats.
No, I'm putting on here and I'm putting a picture of him in. My first picture round. But I think Muhammad is like below Khalid al-Bahim, so Wahid, whatever he's called. Okay, I'll put Ashoka as probably the objectively correct answer through. Charlemagne versus Trajan. We are thinking
Charlemagne.
Yeah, Charlemagne. Julius Caesar versus Majorian. What's your inclination here?
I mean, obviously it's Caesar.
Yeah, it's Caesar. So we won't use Prairie's votes here. We'll roll them on until he faces up against Charlemagne. And we'll give a vote for Majorian because I think he's just neat.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah. Suleiman versus Cyrus the Great. For me, it's Cyrus the Great every day.
What was the Ottoman Empire outlived the Persian Empire, right? Like the Achaemenid Empire.
Yeah. But for me, like Suleiman the First is like Darius the Great, as opposed to like, and it was Darius versus Cyrus. I would give it to Cyrus for founding the empire versus putting it to its maximum extent.
Okay.
Also, like Suleiman also wasn't the one that conquered Egypt, which I think is the biggest gain for the Ottomans.
I thought it was little townships and baronies in Hungary.
Yeah, it was just looted, smoldering Christian towns.
That one place with the second best beer in the Danube basin. Okay, I'll give it to Cyrus the Great because I appreciate Achaemenid multiculturalism.
Yeah, I think chat was also backing Cyrus.
That's I think of it as the forerunner of Canadian multiculturalism. Heraclius versus Ashoka.
Yeah.
Honestly, despite the fact that we've been lukewarm on Ashoka this whole time,
Yeah.
it really is a matter of civilizational conquest, right? Like an entire subcontinent versus a guy who managed to prevent the Byzantines from losing absolutely everything. Let's face it, Ashoka at least is interesting against Cyrus the Great, whereas Heraclius was laughably inadequate.
Yeah, okay. I guess I will make polls for the final two. It's really annoying that there's the limit on
Poll creation.
not on poll creation, on Jason can only have 2 people on the thing as admins. So I can't just make you or Quinn do it live. I just have to do it myself. So we're looking at Charlemagne versus Julius. Yes, but what are you thinking on Charlemagne and Julius?
My inclination is towards Charlemagne.
Yeah, I think mine too.
Julius Caesar, Charlemagne has
okay. Start the fucking poll.
The same level of importance as both Julius and Caesar Augustus, right?
Oh, sorry, just sorting the poll out. Yeah, I mean, I'm going for Charlemagne. The fact that like he kind of did the Julius Caesar stuff, but then actually got to live and rule as the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But on that basis, I assume we're using Prairie Fire's votes to put Julius Caesar into the final.
Well, we should wait for the poll to close, because if it's me, you, and the poll, then 3 outranks 2.5.
Mm.
So you hear that, people? Your vote matters. And Prairie Fire also gets to vote in the poll and can try to whip votes for his boy in the chat.
So appealing. In the meantime, I can try and paste Cyrus the Great into a small thing.
Well, now he's over the top, right?
Oh, did we just get more money?
We just got more money. Right? Like the Dane Geld has arrived, which means the Danes get the Geld.
Yeah, as you laughed, it was an actually good message. Okay, let's go, Caesar. Fucking 8,000 for Caesar. 3 for Charlemagne. How do we lose such like cool guys and end up with fucking Ashoka in the semifinals?
Let's face it.
I should have just put fucking Hannibal through.
I disagree. I disagree, right? Like, Ashoka
is less famous than the cartoon character named after them.
Okay, point taken, right? Like, in terms of Western media, Ashoka, the only depiction that I recall ever seeing of Ashoka was from the Civilization series of video games.
Oh, is he that guy? Fair enough.
Yeah. He's the Indian leaders.
Not
exactly. Not Gandhi with nukes. Gandhi will always, apparently it's hardwired that Gandhi will always use nuclear weapons if he has them. And that's a hat tip to Civilization 2 or something, where because it was bugged, right? Gandhi would always use nukes if he had them. Now it's a feature. Cyrus the Great, right? Like, there are white guys named Cyrus.
There's stupid Israeli ideas named Cyrus.
Yeah, but I think that there was both a pitcher and U.S. Secretary of State, both named Cyrus.
Mm.
John Malkovich, the serial killer, Cyrus the Virus, and was it Con Air, the one with? So yeah, like I feel as though Ashoka's achievements aren't reflected in aura, and therefore they lose to Cyrus, despite the fact that objectively, India is a tough nut to conquer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, but Ashoka didn't make the Mauryan Empire. It already existed. He just expanded it. So we're not sure exactly which bits he took and which bits he didn't take, and how much it was his fault because the Grecos are just that shit. But yeah, and then he went on to become a good king and a chill Buddhist and all that stuff.
The weird thing, and that's the funny thing, both of the good guys are actually on the right side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Because Cyrus the Great was also, right, this the Persian Empire was famous for its religious tolerance and cultural pluralism. It's the Zoroastrian ban on slavery, right? Like, that great is pretty well deserved.
People were repping Ashoka in chat, but not actually putting one or two rather for him.
Yeah,
one. It was one.
Yeah, they're like, all of the people are like, Kamala's so awesome, and I think it's time that we have a woman president. And then in the ballot booth, it's like, fuck no.
I thought you said Kamal, like Kemal, as in Ataturk. There, have you seen that they killed Jeheper?
Oh, the party?
Yeah.
What's the pretext?
So they installed their previous leader as leader. So
the mayor of Istanbul is in jail, right?
Yeah, I think their leader is not in jail, but I think he was has some legal trouble or whatever. I mean, he's an opposition politician in Turkey. But yeah, so then all the MPs defected from Jeheper and joined a new party, which is called New Party.
Oh, is that so? Corbyn finally got it off the ground.
Yeah, your party. Where is Cyrus the Great on my fucking list? Oh, what? Am I going mad? Have I just put him in twice? No, I just haven't highlighted him. I love live production. It always goes really well and it sounds really appealing, especially to guests who aren't listening live and will be listening in the future.
We need some mechanism to indicate that I need to fill space with charming blather.
Yeah, I need to raise a red flag.
Oh, so I remember once this party game that I would play in the post 9/11 cultural space. I would ask people to try to imagine what the most un-American movie would be. Not anti-American,
Right.
un-American.
Un-American.
And one contender, not the winner, but semi-finalist, was a retelling of 300, in which the Persians were unambiguously these abolitionist Chad proto-liberals that would deliver in lispy Farsi accented English lines from the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution as they struck the chains off of the captives that the brutal Greek we'll still keep the aesthetics of 300.
Yeah.
So the Greeks are all frat boy, bronzed gods from Fort Lauderdale. but these bearded Persian gigachads are giving them lessons like, we hold these truths to be self-evident.
I
that
mean,
all
but I
men
would
are
object because
created
that sounds like a very American movie to me.
Well, it didn't make it. It made it far, but it didn't make it into the final. There were better
well-
alternatives.
My immediate idea is a film set in the late Bronze Age,
Mhm.
which is about how total control by bureaucrats and kings of human and all other forms of capital is the essence to a happy life.
That's a good one. That's and who's the main character? Who's the protagonist that we're cheering for?
Oh, there isn't one. That's why it's an un-American movie.
The state. The protagonist is the state, right? Like, it's just these bureaucrats with clay tablets that have to browbeat selfish peasants and merchants into providing their contributions.
Yeah, it's like a diorama, but in every there's no compromise, there's no ambiguity. It's just the state and the king is always right.
Yeah, it's Russian Ark, except set in a Bronze Age palace city, just going from room to room, and each room is the king and the bureaucrats being awesome.
Yeah, it's like, someone's like, oh yeah, I'm the king of the universe, and everyone's like, yes, yes, yes.
We love you, king.
We should probably discuss the final.
Yes, we should discuss the final.
We've got Cyrus the Great versus Julius Caesar. So, if what we're doing here is military leader, military general, Julius Caesar wins.
Yeah.
If we're thinking more holistically, in terms of like leader who also conquers, I think Cyrus the Great gets it. It's also a less boring answer. I know if you gave people this from the default, they would go Julius Caesar from the off, like as to predict the winner, not to say who's their favorite.
Yeah, the number one seed, right?
Yeah.
So my view is that we can't declare a winner. And this was not intended. You saw our organic thought process that got to this point. But if you look at the spiritual successor in terms of cultural genealogy, right, to a certain extent, blood descent, but definitely self-image, the spiritual successor of the Roman Empire is the United States. You see it in the architecture. You see it in the fact that there's a Senate. Everything.
So, Prairie Fire is suggesting that Saladin wins. Sure, why not?
If you look at who the spiritual successor of Cyrus the Great might be, Persian Empire, obviously through the Ilkhanids, the Safavids, the Republic of Iran, and now the Islamic Republic of Iran. It's obviously the current state that's fighting the spiritual successor of the United States, of the Roman Empire. So this final will not be decided by us or even the much appreciated and greatly respected bribe contributions of Prairie Fire, but this ongoing war.
Right.
We're going to have to wait and see.
It's the Persians versus the guys with the Senate.
Yeah, like we'll check back frequently and we'll let you guys know how it turns out. But
an episode of what's your show called again, Cooper?
What Fresh Hell? Mondays,
Fresh Hell.
10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I promise you this: until we have a resolution of the war, every What Fresh Hell will include an update of where we are on the Julius Caesar versus Cyrus the Great bracket face-off. Yeah, it has to be a tie.
I'm gonna say, I'm saying that you're right. That there hasn't been a resolution, but I'm just going to put on the board, I'm going to give the point to Prairie Fire's money, while accepting that you're correct, that the bracket is not closed. Because also, depending on... The only problem with this is just time. But it would be good if we could get either the semi-finalists, the quarter-finalists of this round, and then the quarter-finalists and semi-finalists of the modern round, and face them
Create a third bracket.
A third bracket, yeah.
Which gives us another week's worth of content.
and a week's worth of donations. So Prairie Fire wins the bracket.
Also,
expressed through Prairie Fire, but
the successor of Cyrus and the successor of Caesar must unite and reclaim Syria and the Holy Land together as brothers. That seems a lot less far-fetched than a year ago. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm imagining J.D. Vance, right, who happens to share a surname with Cyrus Vance, right, the former U.S. Public official, teaming up with the Iranians on an epic backstab of Israel.
Yeah.
Right? That is not out of the question given this geopolitical environment. So yeah, we'll keep the scores open and you'll get your regular updates. But yeah. Interesting times.
So yes, unless we think of a fantastic and amazing idea, we will be back next week doing the modern bracket. I can read
with
some
polls.
With polls. Should I just try and mind meld and just guess what all the rounds are going to be, and then we can have polls in every round? But I think it would take too slow. But yeah, next week we're going to be having great, amazing figures like Oliver Cromwell, Shaku Zulu, Ataturk, FDR, Mao, Ho Chi Minh, King Zog. Why the fuck is he on there, Kuba?
So you had Pyrrhus, the guy for whom...
Oh, right. So is King Zog your Pyrrhus?
King Zog is the only modern head of state to return fire after an assassination attempt.
Based.
You want aura? The guy's name is frickin' King Zog.
Yes, so if you want someone on the modern bracket, which in this case is anything past 1500, comment in the comments of this video and I'll take off King Zog.
Don't you dare.
And I'll replace him with whoever you want on there. It's going to be so great next week when I can pronounce the Polish names.
If you remove King Zog, I will not throw you a lifeline.
I was going to say, Podolski.
That's sub-Lithuanian levels of pronunciation.
People want Zukov on here. Zukov's not on here. Because, well, that's the thing. An important point to note is that for like post-radio generals, we stopped putting on people who are just generals because like they don't have... Every general that we've listed here also had like political power. Like Hannibal, obviously when he was in Tunisia, didn't really have political power. But when he was in Italy, he did, because he was far away from the Carthaginian Senate. They didn't call it the Senate, but it was the Senate.
Yeah, he was conducting diplomacy. He was recruiting the Cisalpine Gauls to fight for him as auxiliaries. He was able to administer occupied territory the way he saw fit.
Kilgore Crowd, interesting name, has said Trotsky, who I don't have on the list and should be on, I think.
Yes, but we're not striking Zog.
Your Black Prince.
He's my Black Prince. He managed to... Dude, the fact that there's an Albania that exists, largely due to King Zog.
Didn't he just lose to Italy like instantly, though?
No, he did not. He made it all the way to 1939. He took power in 22. and the that's a pretty good run. He resisted
Very
it.
pointing out that Zhukov did exert political power after the war, but I don't think that counts.
Yes, this is true. And unlike if it was, I feel like Zhukov would be justified if he, after the war, got rid of Lavrenti Beria and took power for himself. But all he did was decide an intra-Politburo squabble, arguably.
Ooh,
we've all seen The Death of Stalin. He's clearly one of the good guys.
Yeah. Perry Fire is also saying Tito. I don't think I have. The problem with this is ultimately you can only have 32 people on it.
Yeah. We'll take those under advisement and see if there's some adjustments to make.
Like, I wouldn't mind getting rid of Castro.
Yeah, Castro can go. Just because there wasn't that much fighting in Cuba proper.
It was just one campaign he did, right? Like, he never had to do a second one.
Yeah, I mean, the Bay of Pigs was over before he even got there.
Yeah, and I could get rid of either Pisario or Cortez and replace him with Monzamuto.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Ho Chi's on the list.
So, do we have Ho Chi Minh and General Zia?
Oh yeah, we do. So maybe we can just get rid of Ho Chi then.
Yeah.
I'll put them like I've got with Ludendorff. I could just put them together. So I've got Hindenburg and Ludendorff together because I just don't think you can really distinguish between the two of them in World War
Yeah, I think that the fairest way to do it would be to roll up Ziap and Ho Chi Minh.
Real communism, guys. We're making two men into one man.
The people are the heroes now. In fact, maybe we should just have the people as one of the entrants.
The international proletariat, as the ultra-leftist replies to every question.
Yes, and they immediately get eliminated 0-3. Yeah. The international proletariat once again fails to make it out of its first game.
They also score a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should put a third option on every poll, which is the international proletariat. Or actually, I can put it depending on what the mode of production is at the time.
Yeah, the peasantry.
The international slave class.
The head court eunuchs.
Who's the guy? Oh, Spartacus. I should have put Spartacus on the list just to put him out with 0 points in the first round.
Yeah, the issue is that the two of us, I feel, will be eye to eye, but the Quinn's Riz first, aura only voting approach does create a bit of a chaotic nexus in all of this.
I read his Wikipedia recently and found out Joe the Plumber just fucking died of cancer in like 2014.
Did he? He wasn't even around long enough to be an anti-vaxxer.
No. We should end the stream though.
We should end the stream though. I'll even shut off my camera.
Oh yeah, Quinn's room's still on.
He does have great visual taste.
He's gonna leave the thing on for when he comes back and fucked Vaughn in there. Okay, bye everyone. Enjoy our delightful outro. Comment in the comments for men you want to be commented on later. Bye.
Bye.
Start eating that trash can.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time.